Hey, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy LT back with another video, man. And this is a video that a lot of my subscribers have been asking for. The heartbreak story of Larry Bird you didn't know. Yo, from just, me being who I am, I know a lot of stuff is hard on people. And I don't think it was easy on Larry Bird, but I want to check it out and really get to see exactly what it was. Because if you don't know the backstory, how can you say you really know the person? So I really want to sit there and, analyze and see exactly how he grew up. Because if the stories is as true as they say he a gutter baby. And if he a gutter baby, Larry Bird, we on the same page. We both grew up in the gutter, and I like it. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this video, man, and see what's going on, man. But before I press this play button, if this is your first time seeing me on your screen or you're a returning subscriber, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications on. Leave me some comments and let me know how your day is going, and we'll get to you when we can. But let's get into this.
A fantasy game, a dream game. We've seen the league go back and forth, and crowd is standing up. It goes now to Bird. Bird goes up top. And a three-point field goal to Bird. 4 seconds left. He hits it. And it's all tied up again. All right, Ainge is going to put the ball into play. And where do we go? It's going to go to Bird. He's got
it.
Get it. And it's got it. A three-point field goal. And that's it. It's all over. Can you believe that? Can you believe it? He hit a three-pointer with no time on the clock, and they win the ball.
Moments like these were commonplace at the TD Garden over the course of Larry Bird's illustrious NBA career. Larry Bird, a man once revered as a god, for on the basketball court, it seemed that he was. Whether it be his penchant to humiliate opponents with his otherworldly creativity with the ball in his hands, or with his unrelenting trash talk, tales of Bird's heroics and sacrifice
I had to
are
turn that down
of
just a
legend
little
in the
bit.
basketball universe. However, while stories of the feats that Larry Bird accomplished on the hardwood continue to echo and reverberate throughout history, what about tales of how Larry Bird became Larry Bird? How a boy from French Lick, Indiana transformed into the man who many across the world came to love so dearly. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we're going to be taking a look at today. The origin of Larry Bird and the man
You see we got
who
ads.
created
Hold
him.
on. All right, here we go.
Shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring.
All right, we're not doing
Many
that.
NBA players
Here we
don't
go.
emerge from the most ideal circumstances. As for the most part, their early lives are filled with turmoil and grief caused by the effects of crippling poverty. Exposure to such an environment at an early age oftentimes being the catalyst that fuels their desire, their need for greatness. Born into a situation that affords them with very little to lose, they're able to bet it all, swing for the fences and pray that their determination and efforts will someday pay off and provide both themselves and their families with a lifestyle that goes well beyond anything they would have previously been able to comprehend. Especially in today's world, where being elite in between the four lines found in the hardwood results in riches that most couldn't fathom even in their wildest of dreams. That, though, wasn't necessarily the case for Larry Bird. Now, don't get me wrong, his upbringing was far from anything that would be considered ideal, but what was different about Bird was that his passion for the game of basketball didn't come from the thought of the riches that would come his way as a result. Since back in the days of Bird's youth, being a professional basketball player was more or less a side hustle as opposed to a lucrative career, and the NBA as a whole at the time didn't seem like it was destined to be around much longer. With the Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlains, and Bill Russells of the world all retired, the league was now faced with the problem of not having adequate enough star power to overshadow the infestation of players addicted to various illegal substances. So with all of that in mind, the question of what in the world drove Larry Bird to become the legendary player that we all know him as today becomes that much more intriguing as a result. To find the answer to that question, you need not look any further than the people responsible for bringing him into the world in the first place, Joe and Georgia Bird. Growing up wasn't always easy for me. My family didn't have much, so we appreciated anything we had. The way I grew up was very different from most people who I have met. very different than most people grew up is nothing short of an understatement. Born and raised in French Lick, Indiana, for the longest time Larry Bird was unaware of the depths of financial disparity that his family faced, mostly because in the small town of French Lick, everyone was poor. Both his father and mother worked tirelessly throughout the week in order to provide for Larry and his 5 siblings. His mother as a waitress at 2 different restaurants, while his father constantly switched from working one factory job to another. His parents, working long hours throughout the day, Bird and his siblings were often left searching for ways to occupy their time outside the house, which for the longest time was done through the sport of baseball, which he and his brothers enjoyed playing on a concrete field not too far from his home, which in retrospect might not have been the best idea since errant balls typically resulted in broken windows that the Birds couldn't afford to fix. It was during these tough times, however, that Bird learned some very important life lessons that would carry with him throughout his playing career, of which none were more important to Bird than the concept of working hard for a day's pay no matter what the circumstances, a lesson Bird would learn from his father. See, even though Joe Bird switched jobs on a regular basis, he seemed to always take pride in whatever work it was he was doing at the time. When you're doing something, make sure you see it to the end, put the finishing touches on it, then you can have something to be proud of. In essence, that is what Joe Bird told his son Larry that instilled the belief in Larry that no matter what happens throughout the course of a season, awards, accolades, milestones, it was all meaningless unless he and the Boston Celtics finished the year by winning a championship. After all, how could someone as competitive and driven as Bird ever take pride in losing? This was the guy who played through numerous injuries that would have sidelined other players all because he wanted to see the job to completion. Unless he could not physically walk out of the court, Larry Bird was going to give you everything that he had.
And I know I ain't been talking because I've been really paying attention. I've been listening because, you know, my dad used to always say when you open your mouth, you close your ears. So I really listened. So the way Larry Bird's father, the way he instilled is the way I feel like my father instilled in me and the way he did certain things. But the point of the matter is the men of yesteryear taught the men today how to be better men. And I feel like my era, the fathers of my era, have taught their men not to be as dominant as that was, because I feel like I see a lot of kids who just give up so quickly and so easily, but then, you know, their grandpas and fathers work so hard to give them what they want. And I think it's because of that you get better people. So when you grow up in hard times, you make better men, and better men make soft men, and soft men make better. You get what I'm saying? So I want you to, like, the way I look at it is, if y'all look at LeBron James and his son, LeBron James lived through hardship. He bust his butt. You know, his mom didn't have nothing. He did what he needed to get to the league, and he's proved himself time after time. I'm not gonna knock him on that. But his son, I was just seeing a post not too long ago that Bronny is averaging 6 points and like 2 rebounds on 30 minutes, and you know he's got offers to Duke, Kentucky. I forgot the other schools, but it's the point of the matter is it's being handed to him instead of him having to work for it. When there's kids out here who get, you know, 50, 60 points in a game on a nightly basis, and Duke ain't even considering them. They're getting sent to JUCOs and there's stuff like that. So hard work always pays off when talent fails to beat hard work. And that's what Larry Bird is. And so when you talented and you have hard work and you get a great combination like that, that's what you get when you get Larry Bird. Growing up with the household he was in, he was always taught, you could tell he was taught to love the little things in life. It ain't about having money. It's about having your family. It's not about having a fly whip. It's about being able to, you know, have food on the table. It's not about living in the fanciest home. It's about having a home. You get what I'm saying? He was always taught to have the smallest things feel like big things. And when you know the smallest thing feels like big things, when you get to that point, big things don't matter. You don't care if you got a fly whip. You just glad you can take care of your mama. You don't care if you get the fly honey. You just glad you can take care of your kids. You get what I'm saying? And that's just how it works. So this is really touching me in an unspoken way. Like, I really feel for not just him, before his family, because that's something that no one should have to go through. But we go through it here in America. It's just something we do, and it's sad.
Which happens to be another trait that Bird picked up from his father, as Larry recounts a time when his father came home from working a long day of construction aided by 3 other men. The man had to help Joe Bird not only walk home, but also take off his boots as Joe's foot had been badly mangled on the job. According to Larry, it looked like someone had taken a sledgehammer to it. Despite that though, Larry said his father Joe never complained a single time, but instead merely propped his foot up, grabbed a couple of beers, and when morning came, laced up his boots as tight as he could, and went back to work. See, Joe Bird realized that missing even a single day of work will result in
Which means your family can't eat. I know that's what he about to say. I know that's what he about to say, because the simple fact is that's how every man today and for generations to come and generations behind us know. If I don't get up and go to work, guess what? My kids don't eat. And if my kids don't eat, I can't sleep. And if I can't sleep, guess what? I can't go to work. So guess what? I got to go every day. I got to be there. I got to make this money. Somebody got to do it. If it ain't me, it's got to be me. You get what I'm saying? When you're a man, you got to do that on a consistent basis. Ain't no days off. Ain't no I'm tired. You ain't tired. Like my dad used to always tell me that you ain't tired. You just don't feel like doing nothing. You ain't tired. You ain't tired. I know several days I get up in the morning, and men, if you on this channel and you watch my videos, quote me if I'm wrong. You get up in the morning and you tired as shit. You get in your pickup truck, your car, whatever the heck you drive, and you start taking off, and on the way you wake all the way up. And you fully up by the time you make it to work. The point of that is you're not tired. You feel like you're tired because you want to lay in bed because you done did so much. But once you get up and do what you got to do because you know you got to take care of your family, it all go away. So I honestly feel for that. That's just wild.
as tight as he could and went back to work. See, Joe Bird realized that missing even a single day of work will result in his family being unable to eat that day. With his wife working 2 jobs in order to make ends meet, how could he stay home from work just because of a jacked up foot? The man had his pride after all, and he was willing to do whatever he felt was necessary in order to provide for his family. Despite his efforts though, Joe Bird was barely able to make ends meet. Most of the time after the Birds paid the bills and brought groceries for the week, they'd be lucky to have $20 left over. And even the groceries that they bought never seemed to last past the 4th day of the week. After that, the Bird siblings were forced to survive off eating sliced bread along with whatever leftover condiments they could find until their father got paid again. Eventually, the financial bind that had ensnared the Birds took a toll on their family, mainly Joe and Georgia Bird. With Joe refusing to sell a house that they could no longer afford, the prospects of any type of change in the near future looking bleak, Joe and Georgia eventually divorced, forcing Joe to give up the house and move back in with his parents. And the divorce, losing the house, and moving back in with his parents on top of the fact that he couldn't afford to pay the child support that he owed for 6 children, sent Joe Bird spiraling into a deep and dark depression. And as the holidays came around, it became clear to Larry that the funk his father was in wasn't going to end anytime soon, if at all. I'm not going to be around much longer. No use in me living this way. You kids will be better off if I was gone. When those words traveled from the mouth of Joe Bird into the ears of his adolescent son Larry, even at a young age, Larry knew what was going to come next, even if everyone else thought Joe Bird was just trying to make another one of his melodramatic attempts at a joke. It was no joke. Having served in the Korean War, Joe Bird knew that if he died, his family would receive a lump sum of money from the government, and for a guy who felt he could no longer provide for his family, his own death seemed like the only option. One morning, not too long after, police showed up to Joe Bird's current residence at his parents' house with a warrant for his arrest due to past due child support payments. Seeing as to how small of a town French Lick was, the officers knew Joe Bird, and Joe Bird knew the officers, which is why when he asked them for an hour or 2 to get his things in order, they obliged, saying they'd be back later that day to take him in. By then though, it would be too late. After the officers left, Joe Bird used the time to say his final goodbyes to a few of the people he was closest to in town, headed to the pub for a final pint of beer, went back to his parents' home, and ended his own life in their backyard with a shotgun. His family was devastated. At the time, Larry was 19 years old and just beginning to ascend into the player who, alongside Magic Johnson, would breathe a breath of life into the exasperated NBA, making it even sadder, since had Joe Bird stuck it out just a little while longer, things would have started to turn around for both him and his family more than he could have ever.
Oh shit. Why? Yeah. I'm gonna let him finish because that's okay. That's perfect. Okay. Hold on. I don't want none of that. I don't know. I really don't know what to say. That end didn't really hurt like that. That really hit me because I'm really close with my pops. Like I'm a 27-year-old man. 27. And my dad is on the verge about to being 70 years old. My dad's about to be 7 years old. And I am, to this day, still terrified of losing my pops. Because, I don't know, like, me and my dad are close. And, you know, if you really close with your dad, yo, I don't even want to think about losing my pops. And to lose him at 19 the way Larry Bird did, when you were that close to being, to making something of yourself, to going to the league, to being able to take care of your family, you just that close. You a week out. Just think about it like that. You a year out from being the greatest player in the basketball league and the greatest to take care of your family, and you lose your pops because of money. Because of money, something that don't mean nothing. You can lose any day. Like, you can lose money at any day, and you lost him because of money. And it's nobody's fault. It's not nobody's fault. It's not Larry's fault. It's not mom's fault because she put him on child support. It's not pop's fault. It's nobody's fault. It's the fact of the way the world works, the concept of it all, the money and all. It's stupid. It's so stupid. Most of us work 80 hours a week and we barely can afford to keep our families on float. And that's sad, bro. 40 hours a week. I throw my life away every day to a job that I hate, and I barely can get what I want for my daughters. I barely can do what I want for my wife. So, and it's just, I guess it hurts me because it's like, bro, he was right there. He was a year away. Maybe not even a year, a couple months possibly. I don't know exactly when his pop. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know the exact date, but how far out it was. But he was right there. He was so close to helping his dad out, and he couldn't. Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video there, man. This got me thinking, and I ain't even gonna lie. I feel a little bad right now. I probably gonna call my pops and talk to him because that's wild. But man, yeah, y'all know what to do with the video. I'm